We're going to start this group of presentations with Accela, talking about innovations in regulatory service delivery from leading government agencies. So Rob Cassetti serves as Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Accela. As a member of Accela's senior leadership team, Rob manages all aspects of business development, marketing, account management, and customer care. A champion of civic technology, Rob works with governments around the world to transform agency processes and further citizen engagement. Rob has over 20 years of experience in the public sector technology industry and spent 14 years with Cisco Systems as a director in their state and local government and education division. Please give a warm welcome to Rob.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me okay? All right, thank you. Okay, so I'm Rob Cassetti. I run sales and marketing for Accela. First, I'd like to thank Secretary Batcher and the GovOps team for having us here today to speak to you today about transforming California state government. We're a California-based company. We see a lot of momentum here in California, and I'm excited to add to your conversation about delivering better government services to the citizens of our great state. Okay. So today I'm going to present some technology ideas that we believe can transform California's regulatory process. We're going to focus on three things. Engaging your citizen customers. What's a citizen customer? Well, that could be a dad like me looking for a fishing license from the state to take my kids trout fishing, or it could be an entrepreneur looking at California as one of the places where they might want to open a business. Okay? We'll talk about enabling agency staff and extending your impact with data. Okay, so first, a quick intro of Accela for those of you that may not know so much about us. We are a government software technology company. We only work with government agencies. We're headquartered in San Ramon, California. We work with over 2,000 governments around the world at the federal, state, and local level. I'm not going to read all those little balloons on there for you. In recent years, Accela's civic platform has grown rapidly with technology solutions for a wide array of government domains and functions. Really, Accela built our reputation providing enterprise regulatory systems. That's the software that runs an agency's licensing, permitting, and inspection functions. Today, I'd like to focus on how technology is transforming those regulatory services. So, on tough days in government, agency offices can look like the ones in this picture. And I think we can all agree that citizen expectations for government services are evolving. Whether we like them or not, private sector companies like Amazon, Uber, Airbnb, and Apple are reshaping consumer and citizens' expectations. California citizens shop online, they pay online with a single click, they track their packages on their cell phones all the way to their doorsteps. How does that affect their expectations when it comes time for them to get a permit or a business license? So let's start by thinking about what's important for a citizen's first initial contact with the regulatory process. So first off, our goal, we want to get citizens from standing online, or getting them out of the line, like the one in that picture, and move them online. So it sounds pretty obvious for 2016, but decades after we started talking about e-government, and I was in this building in 1999 and 2000 and 2001 talking about e-government. And here we are 15, 16 years later, and there's still a lot of paper out there, a lot of paper-driven processes. So online doesn't mean you have a downloadable PDF that can be emailed back. That's probably not going to cut it for citizens that are familiar with the experience of working with Uber or Amazon or Airbnb. So next, we should be thinking about using appropriate tools and user experiences for different types of customers. The user experience is essential. Your enterprise regulatory system should support multiple customer interfaces so that your online presence is appropriate for the intended audience. For example, if your audience is average citizens looking to purchase hunting and fishing licenses or make a campground reservation, then the access into the regulatory system for them should resemble the experience they have when buying simple goods and services, and designed to get them what they want quickly so they can enjoy their favorite activity. Or perhaps your regulatory audience are professionals, like, for example, building contractors. They should be using the appropriate tool, offering the ability to apply for and manage numerous and more complicated permits, licenses, and inspections. Or we can provide an online tool that will help our citizen customers through the regulatory process with a TurboTax-like logic wizard that guides them through the process with a series of questions about their intended activity. One of our small California-based partner companies, OpenCounter, is doing just that for permits and licenses at the local level. Their technology uses Accela's APIs to provide governments with an online tool that walks entrepreneurs through the steps necessary for applying for the multiple permits and licenses they need to get their business open more efficiently. So I just threw out the term API. I'd like to note the importance of APIs in software development kits to the larger conversation we're having today about transformation and innovation. These are basically the interconnection plugs and the language dictionary that allows third-party software developers to have their tools talk to your agency's enterprise software systems. A current focus of government technologists is how do we become more agile? How do we deploy better technology more quickly, at lower risk, and less cost? So today you're hearing from many speakers who are at the cutting edge of government innovation. In order to take advantage of their work in an efficient and cost-effective manner, governments should make sure that their enterprise systems aren't closed systems, that they want to be used to deploy, rather built with an eye for agile deployment of innovation and new ideas. Accela's platform is very powerful. We can do a lot, but we can't do it all. And that's why we have designed an open architecture that allows really small, agile, innovative companies out there to use our APIs to interface their system into ours and ultimately deliver a better value to our customers, agencies like yourselves. One more piece of the customer-facing puzzle before we move on to the benefits of looking at the lens through the agency staff. It's important that we build process transparency into the user experience. Maybe some of you heard the presentation from OpenGov earlier today. I think they're a real leader in this space around budget transparency. So how much of your agency staff time is spent answering calls, emails, or letters requesting an update on where a permit application is in the process? If there's any building inspectors, directors of community development out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So your customers want things processed quickly, but perhaps even more important, it's predictability. So the public can know when to schedule or work or when to hire new employees, the scheduling of which often depends upon the issuances of licenses or permits that your agencies issue. Technology can make that easy both for your agency staff and for your citizen customers with automated emails and notifications and even real-time updates on mobile apps. Okay, now let's take a look at what modern regulatory technology can do to enable agency staff. So just as the citizen's user experience is important, the user experience of your staff can be the difference between poor and exceptional customer service, the difference between failure or success. Arm your staff with modern tools that have been designed for simple, fast, and logical workflow. With less pages and less clicks to reduce transaction time and reduce staff frustration, increased worker productivity will result in better service delivery to your customers. So GIS is a huge part of the work that we do. Most things we do certainly around regulating land management always ties into a GIS system. Many regulatory transactions are tied to specific locations, so your staff can leverage. I know California has been a leader in GIS technology, and in our world, your staff can leverage modern GIS technology to make more efficient and better informed regulatory decisions. So we're now in a mobile world, and we need to equip field staff with the same tools that they would find back at the office. The legacy world shows up with paperwork in a folder. The progressive agencies show up with tablets and mobile devices. Systems are updated automatically in the cloud. The staff back at headquarters are updated automatically. The citizen customers are automatically updated or notified, as well by email or in the app that they might be running on their smartphones. Finally, we're going to talk about extending your agency's impact with the use of data. So one of the most exciting topics in government technology for the last few years has been open data. The concept of taking publicly available data produced by enterprise systems of record like a land management system or a licensing system, and making it freely available in machine-readable formats. California agencies and the GovOps team are up and rolling with this concept, and that's fantastic. Accela has done a great deal around this subject as well, and one of the lessons that we've learned from our customers is that while there are any number of valuable goals of opening up data, government staff wants to know a couple of questions. How does open data further my mandate? How does it help my department achieve its mission? So I'm going to give you two quick examples at the local government level that I hope illustrate this point. Okay, so this is Evanston, Illinois, suburb of Chicago, home of Northwestern University, very vibrant community, lots of restaurants. It's one of a few early adopter communities in the United States using open data to extend the impact of their restaurant inspection data. They are taking the data in their environmental health data system and publishing it into a standard data set called Lives. This allows the large restaurant review websites like Yelp to consume and expose those health scores to the public as people are making choices on where to eat. So here's an example of what you might see on a Yelp site. Think about the power of that from a regulatory perspective. At very little additional cost to the government, we're taking one of the most powerful pieces of a health compliance program and making it substantially more powerful and transparent. Instead of people catching a glimpse of the health score that's posted in the restaurant, usually hidden behind a big plant, right, that's right there out in the open on a very powerful website that many people use to choose where to eat and find, get reviews and information about that restaurant. So what's been the outcome? So I recently was at an event with the city manager from Evanston, and he talked about how since rolling out, publishing their restaurant inspection scores, the scores are going up. And that's really cool, because I think what it tells us is that restaurant owners are going to be more diligent about, keeping on top of their scores when they know, their scores are tied into a popular site like Yelp. So Accela and our partners took this lesson, and we're busy applying it to other regulatory data sets as well. This past summer, a new data standard was announced called BUILDS that looks to standardize the publication of building permit and code enforcement data. Similar to Yelp and restaurant inspection data, large private sector companies like Zillow, the real estate website, want to have real-time links into building permit and code enforcement data that they can expose to their audience of home buyers. So we have a hunch that this, as this happens across the country, as Zillow and other places start following the BUILDS data standard, that compliance with local building codes will go up, just like those restaurant inspection scores went up in Evanston. And we believe that these types of initiatives are demonstrating the value of open data by extending the core mission of regulatory agencies, and we're excited to see more of this work at the state level here in California. So to sum up, we talked about engaging your citizen customers with modern, online, and mobile user experiences. Next, we talked about enabling your agency staff with tools that make them more effective in the office and in the field. And finally, we covered a couple of examples of how we can extend the impact of your agency's data by sharing it, leveraging open data and sharing it with the public. Putting all these pieces together is bringing government regulatory service delivery into the modern world, and it's starting to sound a lot like Amazon, Uber, Airbnb, and Apple. And on that note, I want to thank you. I appreciate your time. If you have any questions, come see us at the Accela booth, or I think we have an Accela table here. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Rob.